The Joe Rogan Experience.
And the reason it's taken me so long is I had a fucked up thing that happened after I moved to the farm, basically immediately after I moved to the farm, and everything was going great. I had a major injury that I told you about. I didn't get into too much detail about it, but I had a major injury in Costa Rica. I went down there for a vacation, and there was this, a big bonfire on the beach, and everyone was having fun. I went to bed in the hotel. I wake up. I decide to go back to the bonfire a few hours later. It's like 2 a.m. at this point. The fire has gotten a lot smaller. I pick up a piece of driftwood off this beach, in this remote beach, right? I go up to throw the driftwood on the fire. And the reason the fire had gotten smaller is the people that had been at the fire put out the fire by burying it in sand. And they buried this huge bonfire that was about the size of this room in sand. And so now there was just a little fire with sand covering hot coals about 4 feet leading up to it. And I'm walking up to the thing, barefoot, right, in a bathing suit and a t-shirt with a piece of driftwood, and my foot goes into the sand, into these hot coals. Immediate realization, I fall back. So if I'd fallen forward, my face would be burnt. I ended up immediately realizing what had happened. 3rd-degree burns on both feet, the top and bottom of my right foot, and strangely the top of my left foot, not the bottom, thankfully. And the nerves were completely burned off my feet. So after the initial shock of it, I wasn't in pain, which was the weirdest thing. And I looked down, and there's a couple people came to my sort of assistance, and were putting water on it, not feeling anything. I'll get graphic because it's crazy, but the skin is just falling off my feet.
Oh, my God.
I get helped back to my room. I'm not wanting this to be, it's the first day I got there. This really ruined my vacation. I'm not feeling pain because the nerves are gone. So I'm literally like trying to clean it up with like some nail clippers, chopping the little bits of burnt flesh off. And
do you have photos?
I do, yeah.
Of this?
Yeah.
Like when it looked like that?
Not online.
No, on your phone.
I have not even.
I need to see. I need to see.
I haven't.
That sounds insane.
I haven't even talked about it online. I didn't. This is the first I've talked about it online.
Yeah, I never knew that you were injured.
I didn't want to talk about it. I just didn't. It was crazy. I ended up spending 2 weeks in the hospital in Costa Rica, and then was medevaced on an air ambulance with Charlie.
Whoa, Charlie, you were there for the whole ride?
Yeah, with Charlie, yeah. And
did the nurses take Charlie to go potty?
So I had some friends who came down, who were coming down anyways, and they took Charlie.
Oh, Charlie.
They looked after Charlie for 2 weeks while I got driven to the San Jose hospital.
Hi, Charlie. What's up?
Yeah, and she was worried.
She's adorable, man.
Yeah.
She's such a sweet dog.
Yeah. And
I know the people that are seeing her out now, like, oh, she's kind of freaked out. But normally she's not freaked out at all.
Oh, yeah.
She's super sweet. She runs up to everybody and wagging her tail.
Yeah.
Super friendly.
So anyways, I got to this hospital. There's a surgeon from Colombia who worked there. It's a great hospital, thankfully. Came out, he said, looked at my foot, said, we're taking you immediately into surgery.
Oh, my God.
And they did skin grafts off my leg. And they took skin grafts like the size of a football off my right leg and stapled 60 staples to staple the skin into my foot. And then I come up out of surgery, and the doctor says to me, which I think he was trying to make me feel better, but he said, well, the good news is you'll probably be able to live a normal life. He says to me, it's the first thing he says to me.
Oh, my God.
And I can't move. I had morphine going into my back. Couldn't feel anything below my waist. I thought I was paralyzed. They told me you wouldn't be able to feel anything below my waist while I came out of it. And then I'd spend 2 weeks in a hospital bed, and I was not able to get out of the hospital bed for 2 weeks. This is debatably too much information, but it's interesting. You get very constipated from all the medicine that's going into you. and you end up not being able to, go to the bathroom for about a week, but then you ultimately have to go. And you can't get out of bed because your foot has to remain elevated.
Oh boy!
So
this
is where
you drop a log in a bucket.
You got to drop a log in a diaper.
Oh Jesus! And then someone's got to clean your butt.
And then these Costa Rican nurses come in and clean your butt.
Oh,
and it was just
Lord.
a really interesting
God.
moment of clarity for me, where you realize you're humbled as a human being, and you realize, oh, this is I've lost all ability to look after myself, and you just kind of end up having to just kind of go with it. And it was, to my honest with, I still think about that sometimes. It wasn't the worst thing in the world. No, I'm just kidding. But they were very nice. The nurses were very nice.
It's very sweet of them to take care of you like that.
And
so you can't put any weight on your foot because the bottom of your foot is that skin graft as well, or just the top?
For the next exactly, and it was very delicate, the skin graft for the first.
No, was the bottom skin grafted as well?
Yeah.
Really?
It's all around, very very.
The bottom of your foot, like the sole of your foot, was skin grafted.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy because I would think, like, how do they skin graft that? Right?
So,
does your footprint come back in the same way? The ridges, the dermal ridges? And everything?
But it's not perfect, though. It's interesting. It was a World War II doctor who invented the way of taking these skin grafts. Actually, they did it for burn victims in the war, and they invented some really, I don't know the word for it, but some tool that actually takes a micro thin layer of skin. So micro, I don't really have a scar on my leg anymore.
Wow!
Yeah, it's amazing. It's almost like less than paper thin layers of skin. They take them off of strips like this, and then they staple it into your foot to hold it on there, and then that's left on there for about, I think it was just about 2 weeks actually, and then at the end of the 2 weeks in Costa Rica, I had to go under 3 general anesthetic surgeries in Costa Rica in a Central American hospital by myself. By the way, my mom wanted to fly down. My dad wanted to fly down. I was like, no, you know what? I'm just sitting here, like, half out of it. So I just spent 2 weeks in there, and they'd go. There was a second surgery where they go in and they checked it. They had to go in and check it, and so I had to go under general just to take the bandages off because it's painful. And then the third general one was to go in and take the staples out. And then medevac back to Toronto to Sunnybrook Burn Center, Sunnybrook Hospital Burn Center, where I spent another 10 days. And then for the next essentially 6 months, Joe, I would have to go to a doctor 3 times a week to have my bandages changed because it's like, oozing.
For 6 months?
Yeah. It was about 3 times a week for the first 2 months, and then it was like twice a week, and then it was once a week. And they're also monitoring it for infection, right? Because if you get an infection, then they have to amputate your foot. So it was basically 6 months of me just worried about losing my foot. You're saying, am I gonna have like one testicle and one foot? Is this what's going on with me? So they didn't have to amputate my foot, fortunately, but it was pretty scary shit.
Holy shit, dude.
And anyways, and then it was kind of like limping for the next year, and then now I'm kind of still a little wobbly, but it's pretty good. I'm just gonna. I actually found some photos of this and pulled them up because I thought you might ask when I told you about this.
Of course.
Now the thing about this is, what's crazy is this is actually when it had healed. So, I mean that's after it healed. This is months. This is maybe 2 months after I was back in Canada at this point.
Wow.
I have some better ones there. Here's
that's horrible.
Let's see. Here's this is sort of healing up. That's my mom. My mom at the healing up at the hospital. But it's
damn, son, you got fucked up.
Yeah. But it's could have been worse, right? Could have been worse. So
yeah, you're alive. You're here.
Could have been worse. And you get this sense of almost. It's almost like a sense of gratitude you get afterwards because you're like, I'm alive, I'm here, I still got my foot. And it's so strange how that happens because it's happened to me twice now in my life because I had testicular cancer when I was when I was on MTV, and that's why I stopped the show, and I'd go to the hospital. They'd took my right testicle. I still got the left one. Everything's fine. And you go from there's this moment where you're like, in both occasions, there's this moment where you're sort of traumatized by what's happening and angry about it, and then it sort of almost instantly flips. It must be some sort of human self-preservation kind of thing that's built into the way our minds work, where you're now grateful that it's not worse. Oh, it's healing. I still have my foot. This is a learning experience. I'm not going to do that again.
You think that's wired into people? I think the opposite. I think that's a learned skill. I think that's something that you recognize as an intelligent person. Like, you know what? I should be thankful for what I have all the time. And we all should. It's really hard to be. You get so accustomed to the way your life is that you can't imagine if you were like severely impaired, if something horrible happened.
It's like after I had cancer, it sometimes it comes into my mind like a little bit of a light bulb or a wave. Like I'll think to myself, if I'm having a slightly bad day, you know what I mean? And I'll be like I don't know, for whatever reason it happens just sometimes when I'm out doing normal errands and I'm having a slightly bad day. I'm going to the gas station, pumping gas or something. And then I think to myself, oh man, at least I'm not in the hospital right now dealing with some crazy, existential life and death thing, And so, maybe it is a learned thing because of what I've been through with that, because the same thing happened after I burned my foot. As soon as you go from, I can't believe this has happened, I'm angry, I've just ruined my vacation, I might lose my foot, this is horrible too. Okay, how are we going to get better? How are we going to make sure that I do everything to change the bandages on time? And your whole life changes, right? I'm not thinking about all the things that I'm normally stressed about, whether it's work or relationships or whatever, things that are just normal standard things that you're pissed off about. And all of a sudden you're just not even thinking about that anymore. I'm just thinking about making sure I don't get an infection on my foot, and you're sort of treating it like a military operation, trying to save your foot or trying to, make sure that you make the right choices in your cancer treatment. And then when you come out of it, it is true, it's possibly a learned thing. You come out of it and you realize, all that shit that I'm normally worried about doesn't matter compared to what I just went through. And then you can kind of maybe learn from that. And, then as time passes, you slip back into the same routine. You start stressing out about the same things again. But then every once in a while it pops into your head and go, well, at least I'm not dealing with the foot's healed and I'm outside right now and everything's good. I'm walking, I'm talking, I'm alive. So gratitude.